Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for joining tonight. Um, I can see. Well, we're gonna have a very good discussion tonight. Welcome. This is what should I say? It's Thursday night. Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, in the UK here, and I saw this joke earlier. I just want to share this joke. Actually, this is from Jamaica here. This is a joke which I just want to share, and the 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 authorities in Jamaica are trying to find a particular gentleman, and they want him to come in for some sort of questioning or something of that nature, you know. But before I go any further, I'll be joined later tonight by Patrick Morrison from Broker House. It's hot, I must say, ladies and gentlemen. They said today is the hottest day, and I'll be joined by Garry as well later today. But the Jamaica Constabulary Force in Jamaica is saying they are this is a person of interest. So they said, uh, "Hello, Damien. Would you like to meet with us and have a discussion? Let's do this face to face. You know where to find us, right? Just look for the blue and white building of your choice. Blue and white meaning to say that's the that's the color of the police station. Hello, Damien. Find the blue and white building by calling 3111." And it said Damien Christopher Boyd. But the comments have been so very interesting. People are commenting saying, "I guess it's my bedtime. I love the non-threatening concept. It should be fun when Damien walk into the blue and white building. Damien, don't walk in, but run in. We're rooting for you, Damien." um, Damien, go and have the face to face. Hey, how are you, guys on TikTok? It's Facebook. Don't worry, no long talking, thick and sweet. The ship you anyhow, whatever, you know. But anyway, that was just something very interesting. I noticed how the police officers are trying to get persons in. Um, Tonight I want to I put it out there. What's your news? What's your news? And ladies and gentlemen, please share the video, this link, and bring in persons as well, those on Instagram as well, and TikTok as well. I'll go on Instagram shortly, but I'm on TikTok presently and also on Facebook. But um, the the government is now back. Is back. You know, school time is back as well. And my daughter's going to school, new school as well. And you know, there's also the other bit about the Ulez Blackwall Tunnel paper mile. We'll talk about what that is and about the new labor. What is this new labor? Looking with new cabinet, which doesn't reflect what labor says it stands for, in a sense. And but we have to go. We have to travel over to Jamaica to talk about SSL. I'm going to talk about the teachers because I understand some teachers are in the UK and they're having difficulties with their accommodation or so. I'm trying to find some more information, but I just shed some light on it as well. And welcome, Michelle. Ha, just in case you don't remember what the police station looked like. That's a good one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, let me just bring in Patrick. How are you, Patrick? Okay, all right. It's a good thing I bring you in now because there's no sound from your side. um, there's no sound. I think yeah, just click onto the sound. Wheel and come again. Let the sound, brethren. You know. Um, yeah, you're on mute. Speak, speak. Can you hear me? Okay, you have to try. What you can do is maybe try to go and come back sometimes. I think the last time you also had a little hiccup, but I think once you touch some things, it came back. So we just wait for you, no problem. Gary's gonna come in soon. Herbert Mushet. Yes, just in case you don't remember what the police station looked like. How are you, Herbert? And how is everything? Yeah, maybe try your headphone if anything, Patrick. Um, let me see something. Um, I'm having, believe it or not, I'm having a sip tonight, which is a coffee. I don't know, I've been um by myself sleepy at some point. No, 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 nothing. Um, log out, and maybe come back in, and and make sure you give access to. Can you hear me, Patrick? You can't hear me as well. You can't hear me. Okay. If you log out and come back in, let me just say log on. Yeah, log out and come back in. Yeah. So Patrick's gonna log out and come back in. Um, it's a very interesting week we've had so far, ladies and gentlemen, and we touch on these a bit later because there's always different news that people have. What is your news? What is the latest news as well? And I must confess that news will come to you from different sources, from different areas. Uh, People just send you things and you don't even know who they are. I'm sometimes very cautious about opening apps on my phone or TikTok or message on my phone. We don't know in persons are, but a lot of them are very traumatic in a sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Traumatic, whereby so many things are happening in the world in a sense, and if you're not very careful, and this is just for the start, and as a person that walk in the park in the morning and try to be very motivating, inspiring, one has got to be so very careful that you don't take on so much trauma, take on so much things yourself and believing that you are somewhat saving the world or believe that you have a duty to know about certain things. But it's like you've got to somehow try to uh, temper the information that comes into you. You know, I don't know what people think about that. Or you just take all the information as possible, blah blah blah. Um, I'm good. I was having a good laugh at Prison Escape from Wandsworth. Oh yeah, that's a very good one about Wandsworth Prison. That's a very interesting one. Yeah, Patrick. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. I can hear you live on direct.
Okay, that's better.
So you're no master at this, isn't it?
I don't know about that, but
I don't know. I don't. Your head is shining like mine. Mine is shining, man. I'm just water is just dropping off from me.
sweating,
Yeah,
sweating.
I've never the door open, but I see some little insects trying to fly in and
Yeah,
trying to they're trying to
I'm
be a
the
part of
same.
the conversation as well. Well, listen, thank you for joining in. And let's have a discussion as much as possible. I was saying that the UK is the school is back, and which is a lot of people are going back to school, even though lot of school buildings have been having some difficulty in the sense that they have been, what should I call it, damaged, some of the roof or so.
Yeah, so I've heard. So I've heard.
Yeah, and
Um,
and also that Parliament is back as well.
hmm
So all the boisterous people are back, children are back, the Parliament is back, all boisterous, you know. You
It's
know.
nice when the children have left so-called primary school, going to secondary school, and you see the next generation coming through in
Yes.
oversized clothes,
Well,
attending their new schools. I think it's
yeah.
nice. It's nice to see seasonal changes.
Yes. I did say to my daughter earlier today. Say, uniform look a bit big.
Yeah,
You know. But it's an it's an interesting fate because I remember when I went to high school in Jamaica. I remember my first day there, and my father lift me up, and they're
yeah,
calling out. This is I think in Jamaica. You pass a common entrance and you go to the
mm,
high school. I went to York Castle High
yeah,
School. It was a fearful moment still at the same time because those boys will grub you. Do you know what is
yeah.
grub?
No, I don't know what grub is.
Grub is when the big boys then will actually well, I don't know. They call it grub. There's a term they call it like when they go to universities. They like when they made David Cameron did something to a pig or something like that.
Okay, wow,
I don't know what
wow.
they call it. It's grubbing,
Okay,
um,
I know I
and
got bullied going into secondary
bullied.
school.
It's a bit of bullying, but it's a
Form of
bullying
bullying,
it's a form of bullying to get you to tough
initiation. It's like,
initiation or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Let me see what somebody said. The black man behind Black for Trump couldn't make 200K US jail, so he's in jail. That's what somebody said. Their news is the black man behind Black for Trump wouldn't make 200K to bail, so he's in jail. That is the guy that a lot of the guys in for Trump. But actually, some people are saying that he was held for some other things, not just the January the 6th uprising. And
Okay,
also in America, there was also the group, the Proud Boys or something like that. They
yeah.
start they start to cry.
They started crying, but the head of the Proud Boys, he didn't look like a white Caucasian man.
No, he's not Caucasian. He's black.
He's black, and
Yeah,
he's head of the Proud Boys.
yeah, he's head of the Proud Boys. You
What's
know.
that about? What's that about?
Well, it's very interesting that you say that because I think it's according to well, they say white supremacy or so doesn't just come in white. It comes in
Obviously
all
not
different shades
now. Yeah,
because what has happened is that people are mixed race and everything, and if somebody's mixed race, as someone just said a while ago, which race should they go for? Should they go for the black or go for the white? You
they
know,
have the choice, but
you know.
rather than look at race, look at what's right or wrong and the injustices.
Yeah.
Try
The,
and have a fair, balanced view, but people are partial, aren't they?
the other thing also which has been in the news is the Daily Fail, sorry, the Daily Mail,
Mm,
whereby they had ghostwriters,
hmm.
and the ghostwriters uh, wrote as if it was for black people.
That is one newspaper I cannot stand.
Yeah,
The Daily
and
Mail.
and what has happened is that they got a girl named Dominique or so, Dominique to say, I forget what her name is, to actually front. They wanted her to front an article about Carnival. And of course, Daily
Wow.
Mail would be saying something a bit derogatory or negative about
Of
Carnival,
course, of
you know.
course.
But she enjoyed Carnival. so, so, so apparently they've been using persons in a way, black faces in a sense. I've been approached by BBC a couple of times to come onto their program, and when I find out who are they putting me up against, I realize you guys are not serious. You're not interested in building the race or building the community. You're looking to get two black persons to tear each other down.
Is that so?
Yes, they'll do that because listen, man. As Gary is not here now, and Gary will come on later, and Gary will always say, "Why do they put persons like Home Secretary, Asian person, black person, brown person to do these sort of biddings?" Because if a white person do it, they'll just simply say racist.
Yeah,
If a black person do it, they say, "Well, I'm black."
yeah. So you can get away with them kind of
He
statements
can get away with
or
that
that
sort of
point of
statement.
view. Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Um,
ooh.
so
Dirty
so
game, eh? Dirty
so that
game.
yeah. Somebody said you got $5, but party and soda and bring somebody. Yeah, this is what is grub. This is what is grubbing. This
Okay.
somebody just said it. You get $5 to buy
Mm-hmm.
patty and soda and bring the
Yeah.
change back. And mark you, that's not enough for patty and soda and bring the change back. you know, and
And if you
when I
don't
go,
bring the change back, what happens?
they just kick you up or something like that. But
Okay,
not.
right.
I was once grub whereby they asked me to blow up the light, the fluorescent light,
Mm.
and I blow.
How old you? How old were you, Silver?
I was about 1980. I was just about 9, 10 or something like that.
Okay,
And
okay.
and I blew, and guess what? The light glowed because somebody turned it off. So you hear what they said again? You hear what they said again?
Go on
Turn it
now.
on back. Turn it on
Yeah.
back. So I started to blow. I started to inhale. And then somebody said, "Big Sida come, Big Sida come." Big Sid is my brother. My,
Yes.
my bigger brother was there, and they said, "Big
All
Sida
right.
come," and
So
they
they
run,
run.
they run. Big Sida come. you know. Um,
I was
why?
fortunate. I mean, yeah, I didn't suffer
Mm,
them kind of bullyings at that age, but it's going into secondary school at like 11. When you leave primary school, as we called it back then,
Yeah.
and going into 11, I was kind of all right because the school I went to was full of family,
Yes.
and they were all older than me, and they knew I was turning up before I knew I was even going. So
Yes.
I didn't suffer like that. It's not until certain people weren't around that certain older people took advantage, and
Mm.
yeah, they initiated me.
Somebody just said in the point regarding persons who support like the white racists. They said there are lots of failed black people who support white racists in the UK. Lots of failed black people.
When they say
Um,
failed, what do you mean?
I don't
Failed?
understand. I don't understand.
Yeah,
The person named Clarity will need to explain that. What do you mean by fail, or is it just persons? Because one of the things that I've learned to appreciate is that people have different thinkings. People have different thought process. Some we may not like, but that doesn't mean to say that they shouldn't have it. You know, like
yeah, I
like
agree. I
you know.
agree. But when you find people that you have a black person
Mm,
and they're thinking or supporting the mindset and the views of a white supremacist
mm,
organization or person or a stance, and they being a black person, understanding what black people have gone through over the centuries, what is the mindset of that person as to why they would support that?
yeah,
Unless they can express themselves to me and tell me their points of view or their thinking, I struggle to think why.
yeah,
I mean, I've come across people in the past who've had different views as black people. I'm been kind of surprised at their point of view,
yes.
but that's their choice, that's their right. But it's also my right and choice as whether I spend any time with that person.
That's a fact. That's a fact
Yeah.
as well, because I mean, one of the things that we have recognized is that, and just like in Jamaica, the only reason why Jamaica is not seen in a way, you got like the conservative part. Well, the Conservative Party in the UK is aligned to the Labour Party,
Hmm.
which is in Jamaica now, which is headed by Andrew Holness.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he would be here for conferences and so like that.
Really? It would be.
Oh yeah, I met him because I'm a member of the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
you know, and I've been with Andrew Holness and some other guys from the Caribbean, and
Yeah.
just like how you got the Labour Party here, the Labour Party here is aligned to the People's National Party in Jamaica
Okay.
on the Socialist International,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the thing. Um,
So
so
let's put it the other way.
yeah.
Would the Conservative Party go to Jamaica? Would a member of the Conservative Party here in the UK go to Jamaica for a Jamaican JLP conference?
No, because the conservative is aligned to the Labour Party, so
Right.
they'll go to the
Right.
Labour
Right.
Party,
Right.
go
Right.
to a Labour Party conference.
See, I'm
Oh,
just wondering if it's reciprocated the other way.
it would be, if anything, it would reciprocate it that way because of how the things are,
Mm.
you know, and persons from the Labour Party here would go to the Conservative Party over there,
Yeah.
you know, but I believe I believe that a lot of things has a lot to do with the mindset of persons, because I can be a member of the Conservative Party but do not follow all some of the things in the Conservative Party, as you got black people in the Conservative Party,
Yeah, I know they are.
and likewise in the Labour Party you got black people who not like some of the things in the Labour Party, because one of the big topics going on we got in the Labour Party is that they had a recent shuffle,
Hmm.
and the shuffle had no white person, no black persons in the front cabinet, except for Lamy, except for Lamy.
Are you surprised though?
Yeah, but then everybody will say, but the Labour Party is a party of the black people in a sense.
They ain't no party for me. I suppose people have their choice who they want to be affiliated with, but
Yeah,
it's no surprise to me there's no black person in the cabinet of
yeah.
the UK Labour Party.
I
I'm
mean,
not
I mean,
surprised in the
I,
slightest.
I mean, they've got some persons in the, cause you got ministers, different type of ministers there, or
Yeah,
lower level.
yeah,
We are black, like maybe Janet Davy, who is my MP here,
yeah,
and other couple other Roberia or whatever may
yeah.
have some different position there, and hopefully, but the top level is not reflective of the people that they say they support, because
They
just like with
support and represent.
yeah, yeah, just like with Sadiq Khan and
Mm,
the Ulez. Somebody just said a while ago, the Tory candidate for London mayor said some dreadful things about black people, but black people support her. Now, the persons who is the mayor candidate for conservative,
yeah.
you know, the advantage she has is because people don't want to get rid of Sadiq Khan because of
Okay.
Ulez.
Yeah.
But she had said some things about carnival and carnival to go in the park, which a lot of people do not like. I understand as well.
Yeah, I don't agree with Carnival going in the park, but
Yeah.
Sylvan, I ain't surprised in the slightest as
If you,
to anybody in some sort of political leadership or power control the statements they make about black people. I'm not
yeah.
surprised in the slightest because
Mm.
I don't look to them to set me an example, or I do not look to them to follow. So to me, their statements are water off a duck back. They're a non-entity to me.
Yeah. Somebody just said by ex somebody said there's so many different conversation going on. They have YouTube, you got Facebook, you got
Yeah,
TikTok, but
yeah,
somebody just said by extension, Sylbourne, you're labor right. because because people read my history, and anybody
yeah,
that I speak to, they'll Google me and they
yeah.
realize that I was the general secretary overseas for the PNP years ago.
Okay,
Years ago.
okay,
Years
okay.
ago. And I used to do the thing, and they know that. So they
Yeah,
say that don't make sense. And even the when I got that a thing called the Silver Pen Award
yeah,
in Jamaica, because I used to write to the papers a lot, and I got the Silver Pen Award by the
yeah,
Gleaner Company, and
yeah.
Oliver Clark was the owner, Jamaica National. He was there, and the Governor General, the previous one, was there, and they said, Silver, I don't understand. How can you be a member of the Conservative Party in the UK and also a member of and also involved with the PNP? So I said, guys, listen, you guys have to work that out. I can't work
Yeah,
that out for you guys. 'Cause everybody's trying to work it out, you know.
yeah,
But but you know, Patrick, I think that we have become so insular politically in a way that
yeah,
sometimes we can't break out of certain mold.
yeah,
Because right now in Jamaica, I don't know if you're following it, and I didn't want to go into Jamaica yet, but the SSL,
yeah. I've been following it.
yeah,
Been
the
following it.
SSL, people who support it and blah blah blah. People say they are labor rights or
Yeah,
labor party. People who oppose it, they'll say are PNP
yeah,
or so. And it's like you're not getting a proper thinking
yeah.
through the whole process, because it has become so politicized.
Yes, it has become politicized. But at the end of the day, that 15 million is coming
Mm.
from public funds. And
Yeah.
what say does the public have where that funds is being used? The decision's been made for them. And is it because it's too detrimental to let SSL go uh, go into liquidation? What are the
Yes.
ramifications of that? I don't know, but it, just like a lot of things that become politicized and
Yes.
they make a decision seems to go against the grain, um, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth and it makes people feel very uneasy.
Yeah. I spoke to someone not so long ago, a senior person in Jamaica, and I said to him, "Talk to me, explain this to me, because I don't understand it." And they were saying they can't come on and say anything yet because they're working it through as well. And what they alluded to is that it's over 100 millions or so is going to cost to do this investigation,
Okay.
right? A lot of money, and what they do not want is for it to shut down, and they're not able to. That still don't make sense, because I just think that if you want to investigate something, why you don't shut it down and do your investigation? Isn't that how things go, bro?
So they're saying they've got to keep pumping in the 15 million a day to
A
keep
week,
it open a
a
week,
month, yeah, a month.
a
I
month,
think it's a month.
sorry,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
month to carry on to keep the investigation alive.
yeah. To keep things flowing. And but when I hear that, I'm saying, but you're giving people the ammunition to do some dodgy work or change up some things. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think sometimes we get blinded by the statements of people, and we just should just keep it simple. It sounds like a load of codswallop to me, that kind of
Mm,
statement. It's just to throw people off the scent and to throw in a statement of confusion, but it doesn't
yeah.
make any sense at all whatsoever. They're using a degree of knowledge of the process and their intelligence to say
Mm,
something that doesn't make any sense. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Um, I think the investigation, if it's done properly, the connections that people have with certain people will come to light. Uh,
yeah.
whether it comes to light, is anything going to be done about it?
Yeah.
That's another story. Um, but yeah, that's what I think. It's just
Well,
trying to throw people off the scent.
yeah. I have a I have a video which I'll play. But before I go into that video there, I want
Yeah.
to go back before because I put a section called international, which will bring in Jamaica,
Mm,
and I jump on it too quick. You have heard about the Ulez,
yeah.
yes?
Yeah.
You have heard about Blackwall Tunnel is planning to do something pay per mile.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, no. To pay to go through Blackwall Tunnel.
Go through the tunnel. Yes.
Yeah, and you have also heard about, yeah, the pay per mile is another thing.
I
But
haven't heard about the paper
yeah,
mile.
listen. When I hear these things, Bridget, let me tell you, when I
Yeah.
hear these things, I think they're programming people's mind. They're like, it's like the poll tax. I wasn't here when they had the poll tax.
Yeah.
It's like they're setting something in motion.
Yeah.
So when it comes, it is no surprise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just believe that leaders are not very creative anymore to actually find solutions, and all they're doing most time is hitting the poor people. Because
Yeah.
as someone said, 1 out of 10 people, they said 9 out of 10 are okay with the ULEZ. So they said, who is the 1 out of 10? Who is this
Yeah.
1 out of 10 that they're going to charge?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, every time there's a change, it's a shock to the system. And when you really look at it, you realize how can someone, car, vehicle, not be compliant and it's costing them 12 odd pound a day to park outside their house? How much more are they going to squeeze people to survive, to maintain a standard of living, to enjoy themselves with the money they've earned and to look after their loved ones? It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. They put it down to pollution. And I'm not
Yeah,
saying there isn't pollution. I'm not saying there shouldn't be air quality control, but it just seems really excessive what they do. And the thing is, it's not just the UK, because when you look across Europe and you look what France are doing and Germany are doing and Spain are doing, they're all doing the same thing. And apparently, the UK fee is quite cheap compared to the rest of Europe,
yeah,
Italy and such like. But it still doesn't make it right. It
yeah,
still doesn't make it right. You tell me the minds and the people that are involved in this couldn't come up with a better solution, and they've extended it. and now they're bringing it out of the tunnel. Now they're trying to charge you a pay per mile. It's like, what are they stopping you to? Trying to stop you from driving altogether.
Yeah. Someone said on TikTok here saying you have to be serious. Only a tiny number of people are going to be impacted by ULEZ, just like what I just said a while ago, because they said
Yeah,
if 9 out of 10 persons are already compliant,
yeah.
who is this 1 out of 10? And therefore, how do you justify this 1 out of 10 by actually creating all this massive um system to collect money and
Well,
all
put it
these
this way:
things?
if
Yeah.
it's only 1 out of 10, what's the point of doing it?
Yeah. What's the point of doing
What's
it?
the point if it's 1 out of 10?
Charity. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the rules are going to change somewhere along the line
Yeah.
in order to make sure enough funds come in from it. Otherwise, what's the point in investing in all the cameras and the restrictions and the notifications if only
Yeah.
1 out of 10 people are going to be affected by it? Why
Yeah.
even do it in the first place then? There's another agenda. There's something else coming further along the line, just like when they
Mm.
encourage you to go and buy diesel
Oh
many
yeah.
years ago. Yeah,
I can
I've
get
always
caught
been
up
a
in that.
petrol head.
Yeah.
Get caught in a diesel, and then you've had diesel for 10, 15 years, and they put diesel prices up. Now they're telling you you're not allowed to drive diesel anymore. You've got to go electric. So people are saying, well, why did you encourage me to go that route? You made
Mm.
it cost effective. You made it sound financially viable. If there's only 1 out of 10 being affected by ULEZ and all of this, why spend so much implementing it? It's costing them more money than what they're actually raking in.
I love someone said conspiracy theories. I love for charity to someone who's actually seemed to be very supportive of the ULEZ and supportive of this move and saying all while we may be talking about these conspiracy theories. I love for you to come on, if anything, and share your thoughts, even on TikTok. I'll open it for TikTok for you to share your thoughts to justify it as well as possible. But do you think that I saw the petrol the other day, and it's like a slow creeper. It's like a slow creeper. I mean, you remember a year ago when it started, everybody was it's going up, and people started to
Yeah,
make a lot of noise, but
yeah.
it has gone all the way back up again,
It's going back up
153.
again. Yeah.
But nobody, Patrick, there's nobody saying anything.
No one's saying anything anymore
No
because
one's
what's
saying anything.
because interest rates rises and inflation is capturing people's imagination. So they're looking at not just at petrol prices, but they're looking at everything else. You go in the shops nowadays, the
Yeah.
shops are nowhere as stocked as they used to be. It's like they still haven't recovered from COVID. When you go into the shop and the shelves were empty.
Do you know my new word? You know my new
Go on.
word? COVID eyes.
COVID dies. So you're traumatized.
Yes, traumatized people have been COVIDized. And what I
Yeah.
call COVID eyes is whereby these four terms got people. I'm sorry to say it, but lockdown
Yeah.
psychologically,
Yeah.
shielding psychologically, quarantine, and isolation. So I believe people have been somewhat suppressed
Yeah.
in a way that fighting spirit in them has gone
Yeah.
in a way, and it is difficult for them to come out of things. Somebody just say you have to be serious. ULEZ isn't going to save the Tories. uh, no, nobody was talking about ULEZ saving Tories.
The
I don't know what this
tourists.
was. We're not talking. We're not into this thing about saving Tories or green. No, we're not talking about that, bro. That's the least. Patrick, I'll be honest with you. I don't care if Labour win or Tories win or something like that. The most important thing is that what I strongly believe is black people coming together. That's my agenda.
Yeah.
My agenda really, when I come to the end of this thing, I
Yeah.
find myself going back to black people coming
Yes.
together and stand their
Yes.
ground. That's my drive. No business
Yeah.
about these guys.
And at the end of the day, we're not in a position to really drive forward home an agenda or to
Yeah,
change policy.
yeah,
Yeah, we just go with the flow. There'll be pockets of resistance. There'll
mm,
be statements of discontent. But what real power and control is there to drive home an agenda or to get it listened to get debated and to come up with an alternative solution? And that's where we need to be. And that's why we're talking about coming together. We've had
yes,
numerous discussions about this, and it's
mm,
not everybody you're going to work with. So
Mm.
when we're talking
Uh,
about we need to come together, we're not talking about every single black person
yeah.
come together because it's not going to happen. But
Yes.
there are going to be like-minded people that you will want to work with. There'll be slight differences, but there will be a common agenda. And those are the people we need to be and want to be working with.
No, that is so very crucial, and it's something that you've said and I've said as well, is that
Yeah,
not everybody's gonna work with you, but finding that common ground, because like what we're seeing happening in Africa now, an awakening with Niger, with Gabon, and all these different places, we believe that there is a new level of consciousness which is happening, and I just
yeah,
pray that it is not just the same typical thing where cool leaders or so become so fat eventually, and all of a sudden they then become the enemy of the people
yeah,
or of the state, you know.
yeah,
But that
yeah.
that means to say that there's something, just like with Jamaica, regarding becoming a
A
republic.
republic.
I must say though, I must say though, since that discussion we had the other day,
Yeah.
I've not been hearing anything from Jamaica coming true. When last have you heard anything about republic other than when
I
I speak about it?
Since you had that conference a couple of Saturdays ago, I haven't seen no information. There's a couple of Twitter from Mark Golding about SSL,
Yeah.
and a few other things, but I haven't heard anybody really waving a flag or blowing a trumpet about being a republic. And the thing is, as well, I've heard
Yeah.
that some other countries and nationalities can't understand what the confusion is about Jamaica not wanting true independence. Why is it confusion? And these countries, and I'm not talking about the countries from the West Indies. I'm talking other countries, leaders and um, pretty influential people are looking at the debate and they're making a statement that I can't understand what the delay is. Why would not Jamaica want to be totally independent?
Listen,
Why do they
w-
still want
yeah.
to be controlled by the UK government and crown?
Listen, I was at in Birmingham when I did the thing in Birmingham,
Yeah,
and the guys who were like the security guys, and they were of the university and different workers in the we're all sort of Asians or
yeah,
African, Middle East, Eastern African.
mm,
And one of the guys came to me and said, when I asked who want to be a republic, some of the people in the room didn't sort of put their hands up, and he came up to me and said, "I don't understand it. Why not everybody want to be a republic?
yeah,
Why not everybody Jamaicans want to be a republic?"
yeah,
He was shocked
yeah.
to say why we're having questions about leaving King Charles.
Leaving
Why was there some questions?
they don't trust the powers that be to be independent and to run the country independently with a degree of what's right, with a vision, with a plan, without corruption. They don't trust that system. So sometimes some people have the mindset that is the better the devil you know.
Mm.
And also they're thinking about the resources, the commodities, the the different nationalities, international companies that are there at the moment, how the country's been run. There's so many things that are crossing people's minds. So confidence and trust needs to be instilled about what they're doing. The system is going to be politicized. The process is going to be politicized again.
Mm.
Because will this happen in this government's time? No. Will it happen if another government comes in and they have a different agenda? What is it going to be about? Is it for the benefit of the people or is it for the benefit of the people in power?
So
So
simply people do not trust.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Why are they making the statements that they are making about,
Yeah.
and the resistance as to why? It's because they don't have a lot of confidence. They don't trust it. There's a degree of apprehension. They either don't
Uh,
understand it, they don't know really what's going on, and they don't trust it.
what's Charity is saying that the Jamaica Labour Party are using the Republic idea to get re-elected in 2025
That
or
was
so, because it may be deemed to be like, what should I say, a way to say that we are the ones that champion through, and we are the ones that get rid of the king, and we
well.
are,
This is why I think we said this the other day as well. That would a third political party come with a different agenda, a different narrative. Will give people a different perspective and way of looking at things. Will give them an option and a choice.
Mm.
Because at the moment, let's just say if it was a PMP that was in power, do you think they would do anything different? They would use it to their advantage somewhere along the line.
I would beg to agree with you there.
Yeah,
Use it to their advantage, and that is what many people are actually saying. Everybody's using things to their advantage at
yeah,
this moment and
yeah,
politicizing the whole thing.
yeah. So
And
the choices people have, it's like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The, the, is it a worldwide thing at the same time? Gary and I speak about it, whereby it's like they're dumbing down. Is that the right word? Dumbing down resistance at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah,
I think France may have an idea or been pushing it, but at the same time, we are blocked out with news from France at times.
yes,
But it's
yeah,
like there's a dumbing down whereby people are not encouraged to rise, and with the world cashless
yeah,
society which they're trying to push forward, if people start to do that, they're just going and just put a their knee on your neck.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they with the cashless society, with the transfer of information to make us aware of what's happening in different parts of the world and different countries, there's definitely an agenda to do that because they want
Mm,
as little resistance as possible with the plans that they have in place to go forward. Yeah,
mm,
using a cashless society, using crypto or that type of currency, and other plans that they have going forward in place. And like it's been said on this show before, and I think they're starting to do that in China. If there's a degree of resistance, they'll just turn off your money.
mm. Turn off, just like what they did in Canada with the
Yeah,
truckers.
Canada with the truckers, exactly. Those who refuse to take the vaccine. Yeah, they stop their cash flow. So
Wow.
it's really powerful the amount of control that the governments and the people in power what they have. The bankers, the investors,
Mm,
the Bank of England, and the monetary system, and the equivalent in other parts of the world in different countries. It's really powerful what they have. How
yeah,
do you
yeah.
fight against that? How do you stop that? How do you create or keep your degree of independence? It's really difficult.
Mm.
It's really difficult.
Oh, that's very interesting. I was looking at an interview on Andrew Holness, and people have been posting it, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. The one whereby the lady was interviewing him, and he was uh justifying the SSL thing
Yeah,
on his page. He was justifying. I think I have it here. If I can play
play
it
it.
a
Yeah,
bit. Yeah, let me play it. Andrew Holness here. Uh because a good friend of mine sort of allude, and I want to try to get him on at some point to sort of justify it from a business perspective, you know?
mm,
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can see anything. Yeah.
yeah. It's not playing it though.
Okay. Let me get it to play.
on inflation targeting.
So, what is the government doing to deal with inflation?
First of all, the government established a very strong policy on inflation targeting, which is done primarily through the central bank. And the governor of the central bank is tasked with ensuring that our inflation rate is captured between 4 and 6%. That's the inflation target. The pandemic, however, has disrupted all of that, and not just for Jamaica, but globally. And we were as high as 12%. The central bank, which is tasked with managing inflation, using one of its main tools, which is the interest rate, they have used this tool, in my mind, very well to curb inflation. So they have increased interest rates, and they have done it in a very judicious way, and that has brought our inflation rate down to about 6.6%. That's just above the target, but still within reach. I think continue in near term, we will see inflation in Jamaica going back to where we had targeted it. That is between 4 and 6%. In recognizing that the inflation has cost fixed income earners, it has cost us in terms of purchasing power. And so we have increased where we have the leverage on wages, we have done that. So we have increased the minimum wage, and we are going through a very comprehensive public sector compensation review, which would have seen an increase in general wage levels.
Okay, so does that help?
In what sense?
and, the lady asked him why was SSL, why they paying for it, and he gave his reason, his rationale.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to blind people with science.
Yeah.
Everybody or every Western world is saying the same thing regarding inflation and using interest rates to curb inflation. It's a model that the economists use. It is a flawed policy, but there doesn't seem to be a better one, which is used globally. At the end of the day, it's the working man or woman that feels the pinch of it. When the governments had to bail out the bankers, be it here in the UK or in America, they found the money to do it. You have the nurses that were working during COVID,
Yeah.
the doctors overworked, and they encourage everybody to come out and give them a hand clap. COVID is over, or supposedly it's over, and they've come out and said we want a pay rise, and they've basically turned them down. So they will find the money to pay for what they need to pay for, and the people that's really doing the work that keeps the population healthy and alive and ticking over, they just use them, and I don't think that's right.
So
What is the solution? I don't know. I don't know what
yeah.
the solution is, but I don't like what's going on at the moment.
The one of it, a guy spoke. I wonder if I should play him, but let me just play him. He was livid. The guy was livid. Now who sent it to me now? I don't know who sent it to me now. Somebody send me something of this guy here. Somebody send me. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. This guy was livid. Let me just yeah.
What was he angry about?
Him just say he's ready to be a martyr. Well, listen.
Good morning, Jamaica.
Okay, yes.
Jamaica. People are coming and ask me how comes me not talk about the $14 million. Where so we dirty nasty, dirty government. I go take up and go get dirty SSL. And when you talk like this, the Christians and they don't want to hear. The moment you start use the word dirty and think and drunk. Come like my mother. My mother don't want me call Andrew Ulez drunk. Andrew, you're drunk.
Anyway.
And
I mean,
he's upset. He's upset.
He's really upset, and that's not just one person, Patrick.
Yeah.
People are just getting upset, and one of the things though in Jamaica, as someone said to me earlier, if the opposition leads some march or some demonstration, and I said to the person, that's just going to be political. They want to say a PNP that I make noise and I give trouble.
Yeah.
Something like this nature need, if they're going to make any major move, they've got to find civil society. People have got to rise up within themselves.
Yeah.
But people are not going to do that because, as Tony Benn said, you keep the people uneducated many years ago.
And he was a brilliant person. He was a brilliant person.
He said you keep the people uneducated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you control them. You keep them
That's how you
uneducated.
control. Yeah. Yeah. So any country, and I've said this to you before, any country, their biggest commodity is the people and the resources of the land.
Mm.
So if you keep the people uneducated, or you keep a few educated, then you can control the masses.
Yes.
You can put any information out there, and then the natural resources of the land, you can do whatever you want with it for the benefit of the people that are in power, that are going to benefit from the most. I.e., when COVID was going on, there were certain people that earned massively from COVID.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, with all the other the masks and everything else that these people had to buy and they use, and they had to get into the hospital. The contracts that went out, or the fees that were charged, and the money they earned from it. But it was only a very few that earned lots of money from it, while most of the people suffered. People died.
Yeah. You're right about that. Where a lot of people benefited from COVID. But it is just like when you have like recession. You always have some people that benefit from recession.
Yeah,
Out,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
because they know how to play the game.
yeah.
They know how to
Education
play the
is
game.
education is free until 12 in Jamaica. Is that true? Somebody asked me that question. Now I'm not too sure if it is free. I know Michael Manley has said education is free to a certain extent, but I think the key point is this: people. I don't think people can wait if they want to make a change when everything is in order, because they always say,
Yeah, it's not
hold
going to
on,
happen.
let me see, I got the Reverend coming to do the benediction.
All right.
Garry, you coming
Hello,
to do the
Patrick.
Gary, you
I was
coming to
just
do the
saying.
Sorry, go on, Gary. Go on, Gary.
No,
Yeah.
I was just saying hello to Patrick and
Hi, Garry.
hello to. Hi, hi.
Gary's here to do the benediction.
No, I've just been in the background. I've caught on little the conversations every now and again that you guys have been having. So
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
I think Gary, the point comes back again to where you said all the while that somehow the people have been dumbed down in a way whereby the fighters we left them, and leadership is somewhat keeping their knees on the people's neck in a very strategic way without doing it. With it's letting the
Yeah,
people know that I'm with you, you know, I'm there for you and everything, but at the same time, they're suppressing them. I see that happening in the UK with the whole Ulez, with the interest rate, with the the the, the innuendos about pay per mile, the innuendos about Blackwall tunnel is going to be charging, inflation and interest rate going up every time the big belly man says something. Funnily, we haven't had anything in a while, but people have been dumbed down whereby people no more have any fight in them. They have been COVIDized, Gary. People have been COVIDized. That's my new
yeah,
word. Anybody can take that word. I got the copyright. People have been COVIDized.
Yeah, I think that when you look and see what has happened over the last 3 years, I think it was just, as somebody said, it was a dummy run to what is going to happen in the future.
Mm.
Because the government, they did a lockdown over a period of time, let's say in the last 3 years, and the nation really adhered to that.
mm.
They were like sheep.
Mm.
Fear was put
They
into
were
them,
like,
isn't it, Gary?
huh?
The fear of disease and death and suffering was put into them.
Yes, yes. And the travesty is that look now at what is happening when it is now being revealed of what these pharmaceutical companies have now are now saying that they knew about certain vials, they knew about certain
Hold on, hold on,
um,
hold on. I don't know. So I'm trying to find where that is.
What, the recording?
Okay, sorry, it was on the Prime Minister page. Yeah, go on. Yeah, sorry, Gary. Yeah.
no, of what some of these pharmaceuticals now are admitting that they knew that some of these vials were contaminated.
Mm.
I heard from if I could find the clip, if I could find these clips, I would. But it was one of these scientists who admitted that over a period of time, like for instance in America, where certain batches, like the first batch, they may have been the more effective ones that helped. Then you had a second batch that came in that was less effective but gave a different there was a different response. Then you have a third batch that would come in that then gave a different response to the second batch that was administered to the population. So right there we see, right there we are hearing that really the populations of countries and of the world were used as guinea pigs to test the vaccines. And they knew, but you
They
see,
knew.
and the governments knew. They knew what they
They
were
knew.
doing, Sylbourne.
Yeah, that's the
And
travesty.
that is what that is the travesty.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the travesty. And what made it worse, in one sense, on the other hand, was that we as the citizens of this here planet, we followed what the governments wanted. Well, we followed what the governments told us to do.
We trusted them.
We did.
Yeah.
Yet there were some, and we heard and we know a few. I'm sure some of us here on this, well, all of us on this platform, we know that there were some that did not take. They would go as far as to lose their jobs because they're not taking some.
And if they spoke out against it,
try to cancel
they
them.
were persecuted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like you said, it was
But
used
yet,
as a test case to monitor the response.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. No, because I mean, I did my shows right through the whole period of COVID, and that's when I started to go virtual or online before it was in the studio. And a lot of the shows, a few of the shows were shut down on Instagram. I saw when
Really?
it's like I saw a hand
Yeah.
literally come in and just I saw things start to spin because people were all talking and we were all discussing the thing. And every time you mention the word COVID or something like that,
Lock you off.
it just shut us down.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember. And I mean, when you look at it now and you analyze it, I mean, all these fact checkers and all these guys were going on, they're all gone now, isn't it? All
Yes,
these
they
fact
have.
that they're already there for a particular season to rein in. That is why I use the word COVID dies. I know someone on Instagram, on TikTok is saying losing conspiracy theories from our communities a step forward. He said losing. So therefore, what we are talking about, somebody's saying it is conspiracy theories. This is what I call when people don't like when other persons think independently. They because I believe the person who is there who is actually saying things is totally maybe sold out or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, that's his personal perspective at the same time. So they don't they did not like when people think differently, ask questions, but you should blindly follow the science or blindly
Well,
follow the prime minister.
why
Blindly.
does conspiracy come about? Because people don't trust the original statement that's coming out. They don't
Yeah.
trust the people or the
Yes.
people in power that's disseminating the information. There are discrepancies in it. We
Mm.
saw in this country what Boris Johnson and his colleagues did while
Yeah.
people were in hospital dying.
Yeah.
So how do you balance up the two and say, I can trust what you're saying? We can't go and see our loved ones in hospital when they're
Yeah.
ill, but you can have a party. But you've got to take the vaccine. And then we're finding out that some of the vaccine was contaminated. But now we're coming up with conspiracy theories. It comes about because we don't trust the statements that have been made. We're
Mm.
looking at options, we're looking at objectively at statements, and we say, no, something's wrong. And because we're not getting the truth answer back, then you start to come up with theories and solutions for yourself. So then it becomes a conspiracy.
Mm. Yeah. 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 I mean, it is something that we have to keep talking about regarding these things, and not to feel what should I say, scared, because the word, as you mentioned earlier, was fear. Fear was imposed or pushed upon people, whereby people, listen, when we're growing up as kids, we learned and we are taught how to think
Yes,
freely.
yes,
But then we become, as adults now, we become so suppressed, oppressed, can't say anything. You're so scared and fearful.
because you're scared of the backlash. You're scared of what's going to come back
Mm,
at you for speaking out of turn and not following what everyone else is saying. But it's good to have debate. It's good
yeah,
to have a conversation and hear a different point of view, and you put your point across and you express yourself in the way that you believe without not being disrespectful, but you're challenging the statement.
yes,
Why we do that? Because we're in search of the truth.
yes, and
We're in
that's
search
why,
of answers.
yeah, and that's why I always sort of, I won't say abhor, but tend not to be very what should I say, embracing of persons who just quickly jump out and just say conspiracy theories. Person that say conspiracy theories right away without understanding what someone is talking about, I think is very disingenuous, and I think is very pompous, and I think it is very full of it. And I think when someone says someone is conspiracy theories, they think that they have the answer. They think they know it all. They think they are God Almighty. And what we are seeing now is that many of these persons were God Almighty. I mean, look at Biden and all these people. Everybody's having COVID, and yet
Everyone's
they're
having
being
it.
injected about 50,000 times.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
been injected, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
and I've never been touched. I'm pure blood,
yeah.
totally pure blood, totally pure blood. Is that a conspiracy theory? I'm totally pure blood. And I walked in the park every day during
Yeah,
COVID period, and I did not walk with the mask. But if, of course, you're speaking with people, and that's why I still do my stuff. You're not going to be very what should I say, full of it and just jump up and down and talking to people. No, but I never touch it. I never wanted it. My house and myself, we didn't touch
yeah,
it.
yeah. But I
I
listened
led
to a
I led I led
podcast.
from I led from the front with my family.
I listened to a podcast this week about us as human beings not breathing
Mm,
correctly, how we how we breathe, the lifestyle that we live. It's been
yeah.
medically proven, scientifically proven, that we're not breathing properly, and it brings about
Mm,
multitude of diseases. And the gentleman that was conducting the interview said that, and this is not conspiracy, he was saying it was like scientifically proven, and they know that the measures that were put in place were for COVID exasperated the situation even more, because
mm,
we weren't allowed to breathe the fresh air. We weren't
that,
allowed to be in the open to breathe and to absorb the oxygen and everything that's in planet Earth, so our bodies can function.
that's
He
very
said
interesting,
wearing the
isn't it?
mask
Mm,
was not going to prevent you catching COVID. In fact, it was making it worse because you weren't able to take in oxygen. You weren't allowed to open the windows. You could only go outside for a certain time. And he wasn't even talking about the social aspect and meeting people. He was just talking about
mm,
being able to breathe as human
mm,
beings.
mm,
That's not a conspiracy theory. It was a scientifically proven fact.
mm.
And he wrote a book that came out that was in production 6 months before COVID. And COVID shutdown happened in March. And his
Yes.
book came out in June. And people saying that you created the book to create fear about COVID. But he was researching this 2 years before COVID happened.
Yes.
Mm.
Do you see what I mean? So the truth will always come out. There's answers out there, and people will
Mm.
always not back on it for whatever reason. And they're entitled to their views and not
Mm.
back on it. But let's look at the evidence, let's look at the facts, and let's
Mm.
come to the truth.
Yes. Cut through the
Because as
chase.
human beings, we need to breathe, we need to drink water, we need to sleep. If we're deprived of those things, we are
Yeah.
shortening our lifespan.
When you talk about even those aspects of human beings are persons who are supposed to be able to touch each other,
Yeah.
hug, embrace, and we're talking the other day about the whole advent of social media, virtual. Sometimes we have meetings. People don't want to come. Oh, can I come online? Because people are just lazy now, in a sense of actually going out there to get some germs. We need
Yeah.
germs.
And the thing is as well, I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
and I'm taking, I'm not saying I'm taking what he's saying with a pinch of salt, but there's a level of truth in
Yeah.
what he's actually saying. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't touch anybody, or ignore the rules about touching people to transfer the disease. But there was another answer, but we don't know what the other answer was.
Yes.
We were told this is how we're supposed to deal with it,
Yeah. Uh,
and it didn't work, not
yeah.
properly, because
Yeah.
people died.
Yeah. Jamaica, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you? Can you hear
You
us?
wanna agree, you wanna agree with what the brother is saying, man. See what they're trying to do? Trying to make people get selfish so that they can divide us, so it's easier for them to manipulate us when time they make you don't care about your brother, so they can just go down there and abuse your brother, and you sit up here with your selfish self and you just leave it. That's how they want to divide us so that they can attack us. So that's their goal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you in Jamaica? Yeah, you're in Jamaica, isn't it?
On the ground every day.
You are? What?
Yeah, man, me dey on the ground every day.
You're up on the ground every day. So
They're
so hold
Panny
on.
Rock.
Is you the government get the SSL for? Is you them pay the money for? Are you them a pay money to?
I don't even know. See, the thing, I don't know about them and their money over SSL, you know. When them did that, when everything did all right and them a make the money, them never remember about me. So why me must know? Me must know pay back money when me don't know nothing about.
Well,
Nothing about.
are you a paid back? That's a reality. Are you a paid back? Are
I
you
don't know nothing.
are you ever pay Bolt as well? How you feel about that?
Well, it no matter how me feel, you know, cause I don't know, say, Andrew, them a bad man, them, you know, so you know, say, I just badness, then the one, so, they want make you know, say, yo, you as a local play person, you have to pay back that. Them are a real bad man, you feel like a Tesh family of them, are rest of them, man, they are bad man. Andrew, them are a bad man. Imagine a man come tell us, say, hey, watch you know, you will have to pay 15 million a month, and I don't want to talk for nobody. Nobody's man, that.
It sounds stupid, doesn't it? It really does sound stupid when you put it like that. It sounds stupid.
No.
You don't have a say. You pay £50 a month. That's it.
Well, the prime minister also said that he said what I get from the people of Jamaica is that they want us to do this investigation and do this. That's what he said, isn't it?
So, and that's the only alternative, to pay £15, 50 million a month to keep you open, to keep the investigation alive.
And that keeps the investigation alive by paying the people out.
Taking the money from the people, then.
That
Listen.
just don't make no sense, because if you want to investigate a system, right, you would want to close every angle for manipulation of that said system. Why would you have the people still working there that can manipulate the numbers? It just don't make no sense.
That's my layman thinking as well. But apparently, the brilliant minds have other ideas. Like Patrick believe that they need to keep it open and
Who
pay the
tell you
money.
so? Who tell you so? You are conspiracy me, no.
No conspiracy thing. And the other thing, the Prime Minister do not disclose his conflict of interest because he had money in SSL.
Yeah.
But again, you know, nobody's going to ask him that question and say, so is it your conflict of interest if you had money there, or if your friends are here, or whatsoever? Nobody now going to ask him that.
But you know one of the interesting thing before we goes is the Integrity Commission in Jamaica what I understand from the Integrity Commission in Jamaica is that the government side, they have not signed up to it, and therefore, and there's also this 6 MPs or so who are being investigated by the Integrity Commission or so, and nobody can talk about them. I can't believe this. This is like a like a kangaroo thing to the next string. Nobody can say that. That could never happen in the UK. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, yeah,
But
it
Phil,
wouldn't happen like that. The press
Gary,
have a lot of power.
the press would get them down. Where's the
Yeah.
Gary? Yeah.
but Phil, I mean, you're saying that about the present system in which we're operating in. But what's going to happen when with what they're discussing in going turning Jamaica into a republic? What's going to happen then?
Yeah.
Gary,
Huh?
Gary, since we had that forum in Birmingham, there's been nothing on it. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's gonna happen because it's like we're the only ones who kept it alive with those discussions.
So you had a speaker on a couple of weeks ago, and he said that he wasn't coming to the meeting because there weren't enough important people, make decision making people attending the meeting to make it effective enough. And
Yes,
maybe he had a point.
yeah, that was Robin. Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember his name, but maybe he had a point. But you see, then
Mm,
it always comes back to my way of thinking. When you put yourself in a position of power and control, then you can influence change.
mm,
You do that by, in very simple terms, we do come together so we can speak with one voice.
yes,
But in coming together, you have certain organizations or people that are more powerful than others that can influence or turbo boost that change.
yes.
So there's a force behind it that people have to recognize and take notice of. So maybe there's another angle to this that needs to be explored to keep
Well,
the conversation alive.
I understood that they are posting the minutes
Yeah.
of the various meetings on the website. Jamaica, if you heard that, they're doing a lot of that there. But there's a saying they say about black people, and I'm not going to say I'm off that irk because I read a lot. But if you want to if you want to keep information away from black people, you put it in a book.
That's been said in the past.
That's been said in the past.
That's been said in the past. Is there
And
an element of truth to it? Most probably there is. But they're not telling the other side that there's a lot of black people, male and women, who are highly educated
yes,
and that write the books that tell us that the rest of the world is reading to inform them and educate them.
mm,
Don't let me get me started on going back to Kemet and Egypt, where these books come from.
yes,
Yeah, and this knowledge come from. So they feed that narrative to keep the people uneducated,
yes.
but educate the people about the history and where this information come from in the very first place.
And they always feed a narrative. They feed these sort of narratives as well to say that we're not together. And sometimes I have to be very careful when I hear that word, we're not together. I know we've got to be together more and more and to work together, but a lot of us are still together, guys. Don't you
It's
agree?
like they're saying there's no black dads. Yeah, there's no black men who are being fathers or husbands to their family.
Yes,
Yeah, narrative has been spewed out all the time, but that's not true. Yes, there are some that are not around, relationships break down, people not taking the responsibilities. That happens in all areas of life. We're no different to anybody else. But
yes,
there's a lot of black men that are keeping their families together and doing their best.
exactly. And and this book here, which I have here, somebody from Jamaica, a guy named Robin Walker, he talks about when we ruled.
Yeah, I know.
So the guy,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of Robin Walker. I've heard of him.
yeah, when we ruled. There's
Yeah,
lots of information out there as well
yeah.
that we have to um push away from those narratives that say we don't read. Jamaica, you're saying something. So your volume is not as high as you're saying something.
Hey man, I was just saying that you see right now in Jamaica, there is a gap that can be filled with if the people can get a real leader that don't want to play the game. Yeah, I was in a group with some other young people, and we're discussing today, and we're saying that if you look at both sides, it's like it's like they even got a choice. It's just like two people who want to play the game. See if we get a lead, come along. Huh?
Yeah, go on. Keep talking. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying if we get a leader that come along and decide that they are not going to get along and start putting Jamaica first and the people first, I think that they could give these two personal serious run for their money. But it would take a lot of resources because first you'd have to start talking to the people like, oh, it's like we are here talking.
Yes.
Without no external like motive or anybody where you have to kiss up to or anything like that. You see, if you start talking to the people on that level and start talking about the things that you know is unfair, but again, they can't. The persons from the PNP, they can say a little thing here and there, but they're not really coming out and taking any serious stance and saying, "What is this?" And even saying, "Yo, we're not going to no parliament, go have no reasoning until you guys stop this thing that you're doing." They're not taking that stand because they're all together working together at the end of the day.
So you're of the view that PNP or JP makes no difference.
No difference.
So therefore, if an election is held in Jamaica, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference if it is JLP or PNP win.
No difference because if you really look for the levels, I just a change them a change over the hands of the game. Like who have the game in their hands, they're just changing it over. Because they have to go talk and reason with the area leader, them and they done them same way and buy gun and do everything and participate in the corruption same way. So nothing now change.
So what you're saying is that there need to be a new type of leadership arise that is ready to be a martyr for the cause and just go in and make some fundamental change.
You know, somebody will just decide, you know what, we're not play the game, none at all. Jamaica first and the people first before everything else. Yeah.
Garry?
Sil,
Yes.
you know, you of all people should know perfectly well that that's not going to happen. I mean, whatever happens in Jamaica, even though the US and the UK to some extent is different, a little different, but it's still the same game because the Conservatives are here and you have the Labour. But if the Labour was to win, what difference would there be?
Yeah.
Really, what difference would there be?
Well,
it is said, there's a term or a phrase that is used and that I've heard over the years, more so back then than now. But there are men in grey, men in Whitehall. There are people that are not seen, they're not known, but they are the movers and shakers of what's happening here.
You mean the dark forces? The dark forces.
Well, if you want to call that too,
I was using what the Queen had said at the time. Yeah.
But you see, Rishi Newsack, he now is the Prime Minister. If Boris had behaved himself and acted differently, he would still be Prime Minister today. But we can definitely see and know that because put Liz Truss slap bam in the middle between the two.
Yes.
She wanted to do her own thing. She wanted to implement her plans, and it didn't work. It couldn't work. It just would not work. She was only there for a couple of weeks,
yes.
And then Rishi went in, and he more or less bowed to the pressures that was around him, and everything now. I mean, Rishi, when you think about it, I mean, he's really in a very difficult position because all of these what do you call it now? These MPs that are stepping down now, still. I think there is something else going on other than what we are told.
You mean Nadine Dorris going and all of these guys going?
Yeah, because why all of a sudden that we're having by-elections just before, let's say, the next general election, and the Conservatives want to win? The Conservatives has a hard hill to climb.
Yes.
And I think I really believe there is something else other than, I think it's all to do with Rishi. I think there is something there They don't want him there. I don't. I really think that there is
Are
something
you are you
going
are you,
on.
are you talking are you talking are you talking this system don't want him there, or conservatives don't want him there, or the UK don't want him there?
Well, he was not. Listen,
He
we've
wasn't elected.
already. I mean, I don't want to go off kilter. I don't want to go off topic of what
Yeah.
you're saying, but everything is into one really. He was
Mm.
not elected by the country.
Yeah.
He was not elected by the country. He was elected by the parliamentary system.
Mm.
If he went to the country, as I've always said, and I believe, um, I believe that he has done very well in my eyes. I think he has done quite well. He's done the order of business, governmental business. You don't see him, skydiving and jumping off whatever, and his hair out of place and his shirt out of his pants and all of that. Um, you don't
Mm.
hear all of that kind of stuff.
No scandal
But
around him. No scandal. Except
nothing.
except he's a millionaire. That's all. And people don't like that. British people
But
don't like that.
but he was not elected by the country.
Mm.
And I believe that if he went to the country on a general election, he would not have been chosen. That's my thoughts. So because he was not chosen by the country, the MPs there are some MPs that have a problem with that. And they're trying to send a signal to the country: do not elect Rishi next time around.
You
And
think so?
the Conservative Party is going to pay dearly. I'm not saying either that the Labour Party is any better, because I think they're really in a very weak position.
Well,
And when it comes to the Labour Party,
I want to tell you regarding the Labour Party, the latest news which came out recently about Birmingham City Council going broke. I mean, that's a Labour. That's a
well,
Labour.
but they've always been broke. Look at all the Labour councils in this country. Which one of them has money?
Isn't that saying something about the Labour Party then, when it comes on to managing an economy? In Patrick?
Um, I think you got to look at both sides of the coin. Yes, there's going to be an element of truth that the facts speaks for themselves. The City Council has gone bust, but why? Maybe their focus was in the wrong area. Maybe they didn't make decisions quick enough to make certain cuts. Maybe they invested the money in various projects, which was taking too long to give a return. That affected the cash flow because it's something like 800, 900 million in deficit. I don't know if conservative councils are in exactly the same position. Yeah, I don't know how they get access to their funds. Is there favorableness about one fund or the other?
Yeah.
To me, when I hear these stories, I take them all with a pinch of salt because it's like, what do you believe? How much do you really know? They they always spin a story for their favor and for their benefit.
Yeah.
So, what is the actual truth that I'm getting to make an informed decision? I have to look elsewhere for that information, and I have to get that information from more than one source and put it together and then make up my own mind.
Yes. Yes. Well. Definitely. I mean, we'll see how it unfolds. The Labour Party is on the quest, according to what they say, to become the next government, and they believe that this latest reshuffle by Keir Starmer was setting the stage, as this is the plan, this is the team that he's gonna go in. I know he's gonna hard part to play in regards to Ulez and being association with Sadiq Khan. I will see how that unfolds, but that is for London. London is not very friendly to the Conservatives, so that's going to be a very interesting one as well, where we might see Sadiq Khan coming in back by the skin of his teeth, because people are not so very keen on what I'm hearing about Susan Hall and some other things that she has said about Carnival as well. The conservative
Yeah.
lady. But there's something I want before we go. 'Cause I got to wrap up now, Gary. Gary, I know Gary, you're a late man. The There's something I somebody sent something to me the other day, and I just want to share it. Not share it, but I'm going to speak it out. It said some African countries and their nicknames. Yeah, I'm going to read out these African countries and their nickname. South Africa, Rainbow Nation, Rwanda, land of a thousand hills, so Madagascar, the Red Island, Lesotho, Kingdom in the Sky, Egypt, the Gift of the Nile, Burkina Faso, you know that one there, the latest one, Land of the Upright Men's, Ghana, the Gateway to Africa, the Black Star of Africa, Nigeria, the Giant of Africa, Namibia, the Land of the Brave, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, Malawi, the Warm Heart of Africa, Zambia, the Real Africa, Kenya, the Pride of Africa, Tanzania, Brain of Africa, Gambia, the Smiling Coast of Africa, Ethiopia, the land of origin. I want to pause right there. Ethiopia, the land of origin. Somebody, when they sent it to me, they said, note what Ethiopia is, the land of origin. They said, all of Africa once. I don't know if, I can't prove this, but they said, was called Ethiopia. You know? And there's Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, the land of the upright men. I think that was mentioned earlier. Morocco, the land of colors. Mauritius, the continental island. Comoros, the perfume island. Sierra Leone, Salone. Chad, the dead heart of Africa. Mali, the eyes of Africa. Djibouti, the pearl of the Gulf of Calibro. Cabo Verde, Linado. Sao Tome and Principe, the chocolate island. Cameroon, the hinge of Africa. Seychelles, the land of perpetual summer. Gabon, Lebled. Somali, the horn of Africa. And Botswana, the peaceful nation. What does it say to you when you listen to? I'm just repeating all of these names. What does it say to you?
I think if we give ourselves them names, then that's fine.
Mm,
Because we can describe ourselves in many different ways, and we can give ourselves our own names. But if those names have been put on African continent from other people around the world, then I'm not prepared to accept that. It's like, I want to describe myself. This is who I am. Don't tell me who I am. I know
yeah.
who I am. I know where I come from.
Mm,
So I'll describe myself. For you to then turn around and tell me, "Oh, this is your name," i.e., my name, you can't pronounce my name properly, so you give me a name. The answer to that is no. I refute it. So I'm hearing all these nicknames, the origin
yeah.
of them, why they come about, I don't know. So if these countries has given themselves that name and their own description, then I'm prepared to accept it because that's how they're
Mm,
describing themselves. That's how they want to be
mm,
known. But if these names have been put on them and it's not names they've given themselves and they've accepted, and they've
mm.
accepted it, then I reject it.
Gary, what's your take on that, Gary?
Well, I would agree with what Patrick has said, really. Um, for too long, others have described who we are and given us as if they want to give us our history. And we've had enough of that. I mean, I think that we are now coming into our own, aren't we? I mean,
Yeah,
we see
circling.
that in action. Africa right now, with Mali, with
Mm,
Sudan, with what's the other country?
Niger,
I think
Gabon.
mm,
Niger,
Yeah.
right? Where they are now saying we don't want to be ruled anymore from a white country.
yeah.
We don't want France to rule us anymore. We are able to do it on our own. And
Yeah.
and the only reason why they're willing to hang on for so long is
Mm,
because of what we have, such as the minerals. It's because of the minerals and the gold and the oil that's in these countries why France wants to hang on to Africa.
yeah.
So really, um, what Patrick has just said, that's true.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know our value.
Mm,
And as Patrick again did say earlier, that we've got highly intelligent black men and black women. They are writing their books. They are managing companies,
yeah.
portfolios.
Yeah.
They are doing magnificent things in society, but we
Yeah.
don't hear about them. We're not being told about them, and they're not being promoted in society anyway. And if they are, if you watch how they are being promoted, it's only to highlight the. I don't want to sound racist. I'm not, but it's just making a point. It's just to highlight what the white man is doing. Just
Yeah.
that. It's,
Mm.
it's really nothing about what the black men are doing to enhance the black community. It's not about that. It's
Yeah.
all about what. It's all about what you know. the other
No,
races are doing.
no. That's right. That's right. Because just reading them, they all sound nice and great. But
Yeah.
as Patrick highlighted, who named you? Where did you get that name from? Is that the real meaning of those names? Is it that so? Because Africa, for argument's sake, was carved up.
Mhm.
Was carved up by the white man.
Mm.
Pakistan and India were one, carved up again. So everywhere you see, it's been carved up in a way. The world has been carved up in certain ways by the colonizers
For their benefit,
for their benefit.
not for the benefit of the local people.
And that is why France somehow believe that they have this claim on Africa to a certain extent, and find it hard because their card, embryonic card, is somewhat linked in. Because guess what? As someone said, they are using France in these African countries, franc, and France is using euro. Shocking,
Mm.
But anyway, guys, listen. It was a good conversation, and thank you guys so much for coming on, and
Thank you
also,
for the invite.
yeah, Milverton Newell from the USA. Jamaican civil groups in the diaspora needed to carry out. Milverton, if you can clarify what you meant by that. Jamaican civil groups in the diaspora need to carry out. And the Jamaica, what he said, the Jamaica press is dead when it comes to the government. That is something which was mentioned by the General Secretary of the People's National Party, a guy named Dayton Campbell, to say that the nationwide one of the station over there is a lot of politicians for the Labour Party has been trained there. So I don't know. As somebody said earlier, everything is so politicized and the emotions there, in a sense. And if you look at some of the comments, you read the comments, you realize that, I don't know, you might say it's hopeless. Because you got to get into that mindset and that psyche as well.
We can influence change, as Obama said. We can influence change.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. All right. All right. Well, Garry, any last word?
No, I mean, I think you've done very well, and Patrick has done excellent. I think
Yes.
He's the best man to replace me when I'm not around.
I'm not replacing you, Garry. We walk together.
Gary, you just come in and do the benediction.
Yeah, man. Gives the blessing, man. Bless me.
The blessing.
That we need.
All right, guys. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for those joining on Facebook, those joining on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram as well. I created all these different platforms as well. Thanks for the conversation. And Saturday night, Talk and Sip. I just want to say, though, that there's a new restaurant called Nanny Maroon by Chef Colin Brown. Nanny Maroon. And I got an invite for the opening. Just to let you know, Nanny Maroon by Chef Colin Brown. You know Chef Colin Brown. He was in Brunel, Patrick.
Yes, he's the one that done the chain of restaurants or food
Yeah.
chain. Yeah. Quite big.
Yeah. It's
See,
called
that's
Nanny. It's called Nanny. It's called Nanny Maroon.
Yeah.
Nanny Maroon. So we find out some more about this.
Yeah.
This restaurant in Soho and so like that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.
All right.
Garry.
Lovely. Thank you.
Take
Take
care.
care,
Okay,
Garry.
guys.
Take care, Sylbourne.
Bye-bye.
Bless up.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night and thank you so much for joining. And without further ado, I'll just say bon voyage and thank you, Jamaica, and Charity, who was on Instagram as well. tonight, and also on TikTok as well, and a very interesting conversation. And please join the conversation and let us know more. And anybody have any, what should I say, invitation on, or information on SSL, and you can justify it, please do and let us know. Okay, peace out. Bye bye.